Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our Jelocorp listeners. We are so happy that you are here for our second installment of our exciting, fun podcast. Today, I have a very special guest with me. I have Divya Moodley, who is part of the Jelocorp team. She is the marketing specialist, and it's only fitting that we talk about marketing. And we're not talking about marketing companies, but we're talking about marketing yourself on LinkedIn and other social platforms to make you desirable when looking for a job or when jobs are looking for you. Divya, I'm going to give the mic to you.
Hey, Alan. I think social media is a big platform to market yourself in general. And when it comes to jobs, LinkedIn is one of the biggest ones that many people tend to overlook. There are a lot of candidates that don't have LinkedIn profiles, and many people don't realize that recruiters actually go to LinkedIn because it's one of the most accessible platforms to find potential job seekers.
I absolutely agree, Div. It's crazy to think that there are people out there, especially people who are just entering the job market, who have no idea what LinkedIn is. I went to a career day about 4 months ago. And as we were sitting over there, people were asking, what's the best way we can get jobs at your company? And we said, well, keep us added on LinkedIn. And I kid you not, 70% of people had no idea what LinkedIn was. And these were young, aspiring professionals who had just graduated. It was very shocking and very concerning. Dev, for those people who don't know about LinkedIn, can you tell us a little more about it?
So you'd be surprised, even myself as a high school student, as well as when I was in university, I didn't utilize LinkedIn as much because I didn't realize the importance of it. For those of you who do not know, LinkedIn is a social media platform, but it's more of a professional platform. It's where you share all of your career goals and achievements, and you can start building your LinkedIn from the time you're in high school. So broadcasting your achievements as well as certifications that you've completed when you start university, what you're studying, what your electives are. These are some things that recruiters will look at when they're looking to hire, and they'll go all the way back to when your page has started. So just outline all of your achievements when it comes to your professional life.
Yeah, so, as a marketer, as a marketing specialist, and as a marketing specialist at Jelocorp, we have a very strong recruiting arm. What are some of the tips and hints that you would give to people in regard to them marketing themselves? We know that finding a job, we know that finding a team or a project or, basically finding things that you want to specialize in and a team that will accept you is more than just the qualification that you have, but it's about who you are as a person, what your attributes are, what you find interesting, what you find funny, what you don't like. And LinkedIn really helps recruiters find out a little more about this. So what are some of the things that you would do, Div? What are some of the things that our candidates should do? What are some of the things that even people who have jobs should do?
So the first thing I want to advise that you start off with is organizing your LinkedIn profile. Add a professional profile picture. A lot of the time, even when recruiters do find your CVs on other career portals, they go and check your LinkedIn. They want to see what you look like, how you talk. So what have you documented on your LinkedIn profile? So you want to add a little bit of personality, but also keep it a professional personality. Recruiters are looking for the things that you engage with. So what are you liking? What are you sharing? What thoughts are you adding? What comments are you leaving? And on what type of pages? So it's very important to organize your LinkedIn profile so that it includes information about you on a professional level, but also adds a little bit of personality to it. And that's the first place that you need to start at.
I absolutely agree with you, Dev. Absolutely. You find a lot of people who will ask, well, what on earth do I put on my LinkedIn? My life is boring. My job is boring. School is boring. And one of the words that you used was document. And that's one of the things that Gary Vee says. If you think that your life is quote unquote boring, document what you're doing. Document every single bit of the best aspects of your life. of your professional life, the worst aspects of your professional life. And I tell you, that's content with personality. And a lot of people look towards that and they find that very, very interesting. So start there. So if you're looking at reports all day or creating reports all day, what are some of the thoughts that you're having? Why don't you put that in a post? I'm not saying share your client's information on LinkedIn, of course not, but what are some of the elements, the tips and tricks that you've learned during this, massively long process? And if you're in school, what courses do you love? What modules do you love, right? Put that on the internet, put that on LinkedIn, and you'll never know who it could attract. So if you like competition law, if you like intellectual property, heck, Tim Cook might be looking at your profile, right, Dev?
You are absolutely correct. And as a marketer, I have to say that content is king and everything is content. We often find ourselves stuck in a mundane cycle when you're working a 9-to-5 job, but you don't realize that there are many people that are living the same lives as you and they want somebody to relate to. So as you're saying, reports can be boring, but you know what? There's a marketer who's starting out right now who's looking for the best marketing tool. So I know for me personally, I work with Zoho as well as Later, and there's somebody that's starting off that doesn't know about that. Sharing that insight is going to give you some traction on your posts, on your page. It's also going to let recruiters know that you know what you're doing, you're exploring things, and you're figuring your way through it. And you know what, even if you feel like your job is getting a little boring, I always advise to do some upskill courses. They look great on your CV, they're great to add to LinkedIn as well, and it lets people know that no matter whether you hold a degree or not, or whether you've been working for the past 15 years, you're still upskilling yourself and you're still keeping up with the trends in the current market.
Absolutely, Dev. And adding your qualifications on LinkedIn, adding where you went to school is so essential. I know that universities even offer verification directly through LinkedIn. It saves recruiters a lot of time into inquiring where you went to school, what course you did, and whatnot. It makes the process a lot easier, and it makes you look a lot more organized. So, let's break it down. What are your top 5, top 2, top 3, whatever the number is? I know I'm putting you on the spot here. What are your top tips for LinkedIn?
Okay, I'm going to keep it short and I'm going to keep it to the point, because when you're starting off LinkedIn, it can be very daunting. So just focus on these 2 things. First of all, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, organize your profile. I know it takes a lot of time, but sit there, take the time to add your bio, your about section, add all of your achievements, add your education, add your experience, add the industries that you're working with currently or that you're interested in. The second thing for me would be to grow your network. So go and follow pages that have to do with your niche and the industry that you're focused on. And also follow and interact with people that work in the same industry as yourself. You will create a lot of connections there, and also it allows you to, it's a step for you to become known as well in your industry. I would also advise that you interact with pages that you're really interested in. So if there's a specific company that you want to work with, the best way to get noticed is to be interacting with that page. Like their stuff, share their stuff, comment, and I promise you, they will be keeping an eye on you for future potential job opportunities.
Totally, Dev. Thanks so much. Those are some amazing points. I've got one too. I think that one of the things and one of the tools that people don't utilize on LinkedIn is the recommendation feature. It's so important, and no one really uses it. Back in the day, today as well, you would go to your previous employer, you'd go to your professor, you would go to the person who trained you, you'd go to a friend and ask for a recommendation, and they would go and type something up. But LinkedIn has the tool right there embedded into it. You can request any one of your LinkedIn connections to give you a recommendation. It doesn't take 2 or even 5 minutes of their time to say some good things about you, your character, the course that you studied, or the things that they believe that you're good at, what makes you special. And it's always fantastic seeing recommendations from other people who work at previous companies or at schools or people in your circle. It doesn't take too much time. So I think that's one of the most essential things that you need to start doing.
You're absolutely correct. And even in marketing, although everything has gone so digital and LinkedIn is a digital social platform, word of mouth is still one of the best ways to gain business and customers. So a personal recommendation goes a long way, and it's not something that just gets viewed over. If there's a trust system in place, that personal recommendation could just be your next job opportunity.
These are some really great tips for people who are starting off. But do you have any tips for people who have been on LinkedIn for years, who have been on LinkedIn since its inception? What would you tell them? Are there any new tips and tricks that you could give them that they can enhance their profile?
I think the most important thing here, and I'm going back to my first statement, is to remember to keep your profile updated. I think people who have been on LinkedIn for eons forget that having a profile is not good enough. You have to be active. There's a lot of time where we've reached out to potential candidates because they have everything that we're looking for, but they haven't responded to us and we can't get in touch with them. So keep checking your LinkedIn. Make sure that you're checking your messages as well as updating anything else that's going on in your professional career.
Thanks so much for the top tips, Divya. We really appreciate having you on this podcast. So, are there any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us? Anywhere that we can find you, where we can learn all of these incredible tips and tricks that you've got? I mean, besides on this podcast.
Yes, definitely. So you can find out tips and insights, anything social media, digital marketing related on Artistry Waves Marketing. We are a division of Jelocorp Group and provide everything related to your marketing services. And that's where you can contact me as well.
Thanks so much, Dev. I mean, I've learned so much, and I've been using some of the tools that you said on LinkedIn. It's absolutely incredible to keep your connections updated with what's going on in your professional life, and also it's important to educate other people based on, certain tools that you used, and also it makes you quite attractive to the job market. Thanks so much, Dev. When next can we expect you?
Thank you so much, Alan, for having me on the podcast. And to those of you listening out there, if you have any questions related to your social media presence and your social media marketing, don't forget to hit up the comments and I will try and answer them as best as I can. Be sure to give Jelocorp Group a follow as well as Artistry Waves Marketing, and I can't wait to engage with all of you.